Hello. This video is going to just give you an overview of how to set up expression-based remote control animation objects. It works especially good for this particular case here because it's composed of 24 separate elements that all need to animate independently of each other, yet relative to each other. Thing is, I didn't want to go and have to animate each one of these things individually, so I set up expression controllers. So basically, their rotation is linked directly to these helper objects here. I have one for major bend left and right, uh, one for the neck left and right, neck forward and backward, twist, and bending forward and backward. Shoulder shift is not hooked up. This was for a spinal injury case I was working on, but it never went to trial, so it was never quite complete, and I can't guarantee that all the physiology is correct because it never had to pass it by a doctor because we never got that far. Anyway, this is just going to be showing it to you. We'll get into the details of how it works in the next video, but especially something like this, again, you'll notice if you're to just put a bend modifier on this, the geometry, if we bend it to our right, if you just put a bend modifier on this geometry here would start to stretch. This geometry would become compressed, and it would actually alter the position of the vertices. But in actuality, these are all very rigid objects that bend because they're pivoting the intervertebral discs here. So it's a perfect place for an expression. Also with an expression, you'll notice that as the skeleton bends to our right, the spine here actually takes a little counter turn and then does the bend. Again, I would definitely have a physician come and check all my angles and everything, but you can tell how difficult that would be if you had to go in and animate each one of those individually. So now, shoulder shift is not hooked up, and stiffness is not hooked up either, but stiffness was basically going to be give us a value based on its X position, and that value was then going to be used as a multiplier for all the rotations here. So if it was far to the end, it would be nice, easy, fluid, swift motion, and then if I move stiffness all the way over here, it would divide by a greater number, and things would not rotate as smoothly and easily. And also, all you do is you set your animate key, and then you just animate by moving these things. And you can tell it can save you a lot of time, and it's also sometimes the only way to really do things, especially when you're dealing with solid, rigid objects that are stacked upon on top of each other and dependent on the position of their neighbors. Anyway, so we'll get into the details of how to do this in the next video, but right now it's just an overview, and you can make it go like that too, which is always fun.